Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. You know it. Have you heard these words spoken? Anyone? Now, I know we Unitarian Universalists do not have a creed, but I grew up speaking these words each and every Sunday at the Third Unitarian Universalist Church of Chicago, and later I spoke another form of these same words at the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church in Knoxville, basically every Sunday of my life from 0 to 18. Our great covenant is to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now, we are a free and covenantal faith. And so if you came here because you were excited by the possibilities of religious freedom, well, get ready, because there's a whole other side of this faith to explore. We join together in covenant. In her 2013 essay on covenant in the UU world, Reverend Victoria Safford offers examples and frameworks to help us begin this exploration into that word covenant. What is it they say in The Princess Bride? This word, I do not think it means what you think it means. So let's find out what it means. She writes about how in the first weeks of her ministry in an old New England congregation, a woman came to see her, Reverend Safford. This woman was nearly 90 years old. She was a lifelong member of that church. Her parents had joined in the late 19th century. She didn't like change, she said. She also said she wasn't sure if she liked Reverend Safford, or what she called her point of view. Just remember, she said, I have outlived all of your predecessors, and I will probably outlive you. Now, this woman was a dedicated political conservative in what had become, over time, a progressive community. She was a Christian in a congregation that had known gracious eras of theological diversity and also some fits of intolerance. She had worked for the U.S. State Department through 3 wars, and she had worked for the American Unitarian Association through their merger with the Universalist Church of America. In this church of her childhood, though, which she'd never left, most votes at annual meetings had not gone her way for 40 years. She was no stranger to discord. And over 10 years, this congregant and this reverend cultivated a fierce, respectful love for one another. And what Victoria loved in her most was her commitment to the church, no matter what, her fidelity to it, the ferocity with which she paid her pledge each year, no matter how wayward the budget or insufferable, in her humble opinion, the sermons. See, she kept her covenant with her people, with their proud history, with the bright promise of their future, and with the free faith tradition they embodied. Reverend Safford writes how she would think of her often on Sundays when her new congregation, turned out the woman did outlive Reverend Safford's presence in that congregation. Reverend Safford went on to serve another congregation. But she would think of her often when they would welcome people each week with the words, "This is a congregation bound not by creed, but by covenant." See, we are bound by covenant, each to each and each to all, by what the theologian Rebecca Parker calls freely chosen and life-sustaining interdependence. The central question for us is not, what do we believe? But more, what do we believe in? To what larger love? To what people, principles, values, and dreams shall we be committed? To whom, to what are we accountable? And a tradition and a national culture so deeply steeped in individualism, it becomes a spiritual practice for each of us to ask, not once and for all, but again and again, even over 90 years of life. How do I decide which beautiful, clumsy, and imperfect institutions will carry and hold, in the words of one congregation's bond of union, my name, hand, and heart? The life of the Spirit may be solitary, but our answers to these questions call us to live in the plural. Seeing ourselves as bound in covenant is an old practice among us Unitarians and Universalists. The organizing statements of the early Universalist and Unitarian congregations in New England echoed a Puritan ideal of working together for the common good. Sure, the theology changed, Unitarian beliefs about the nature of God, Universalist beliefs about the nature of human beings, but the essential premises of covenanted community, the foundation of their polity, did not change. Ethicist and theologian Margaret Farley makes this observation: civilization's history tends to be written in terms of human discoveries, inventions, wars, artistic creations, laws, the cultivation of the land. At the heart of this history, however, lies a sometimes hidden narrative of promises, pledges, oaths, pacts, treaties, committed beliefs, and projected visions. At the heart of any individual's story, too, lies the tale of their commitments. What covenants order our personal lives? Reverend Safford asks. What did Catherine agree to do when she married Elaine? What will actually happen in the moment when David vows to live a celibate and simple life within a community dedicated to God? What does Chris affect when they sign a business contract? What takes place when Viola speaks the Hippocratic Oath as she begins her career as a doctor? To act in these ways is to give our word, to give it. We send it out, and it carries our integrity, our fidelity, our faithfulness, our truth. Our word is still ours, but it calls back to us from the heart of another person or a circle of people within which it now dwells. Such a commitment does not predict the future nor set it in stone. It does not say this will definitely be happening, but it makes a certain kind of future possible. Covenant is the work of intimate justice, which requires knowing our own boundaries and lovingly respecting others' boundaries. See, there are 1,000 ways to kill a community. And one is to act as though you are the only one who matters, or to focus only on the behavior of others and miss the opportunities for true feedback in that eternal journey of deeper self-awareness that never ends. This is how we live with a love ethic. It's February, I got to talk about love. Love that does not stand idly by in the face of intimate injustice, but love that calls us back to the goal of intimate justice. Justice between us. Love that liberates. When we talk about liberatory love, we talk about a love that demands both freedom and justice. You see, we cannot love someone if we wish to control them. If we do not wish for them to have complete freedom over their choices, their bodies, if we do not want them to have the full autonomy to make decisions for themselves, well, then this is not love that liberates. And I know it might be nicer for you to hear that milquetoast phrase people would often say about Unitarian Universalism in my youth, that you can believe whatever you want, that it doesn't really matter, or that even that all beliefs are welcome. But you do matter. What you believe in does matter, and what you do does matter. See, amidst the chaos of our religious pluralism, our covenantal specificity strengthens us. Yes, many beliefs are welcome. Most beliefs, in fact, are welcome. We need not think alike to love alike, but you must be committed to the covenant. Committed to express yourselves in ways that are loving, that are self-aware, always deepening your connection to your co-religionists, as Jason Delaney calls you, your partners in community. See, our practice is specific, is that our practice, our way, the way that we are, is specific because you are invited into something specific, something meaningful and deep that will change you if you let it. The welcome is universal. We welcome all who desire to be a part of this specific congregation in this era, undertaking the specific tasks involved in our mission of transformation, courage, and soulful connection. So we show up here again and again on our best days and our worst days and our neutral days, not because we want everyone to see us be perfect, but because we want this community to be strong enough so it can handle you when you're not at your best, so we can catch you when you fall, so we can be there for each other, steadfast, sturdy, not self-reliant, but collectively reliant. We show up here again and again, though we disappoint each other, though we have conflicts, though we talk too much and listen too little, though we withhold too much and trust not enough, because we aspire to be healthy, to keep each other safe and respect each other's boundaries, because you cannot be free unless you are safe. Because we are free and also covenantal, promised to one another, a promise that when kept can fill out what is missing in our lives and in our society and make something whole. It is by our aspirations that we are made whole. By our empathy and our truth-telling that we are made whole. By our service and our humility, we are made whole. By our resilience and our grace, we are made whole. By our courage to hold one another accountable, we are made whole. This is what it means to live with a love ethic. In the immortal words of the great writer and thinker Bell Hooks, without an ethic of love shaping the direction of our vision and our radical aspirations, we are often seduced in one way or the other into continued allegiance to systems of domination, imperialism, sexism, racism, classism. And it has always puzzled me, she writes, that people who spend a lifetime working to resist and oppose one form of domination can be systematically supporting another. I have been puzzled, says Bell Hooks, by powerful visionary black male leaders who can speak and act passionately in resistance to racial domination and accept and embrace sexist domination of women. And I have been puzzled by feminist white women who work daily to eradicate sexism, but who have major blind spots when it comes to acknowledging and resisting racism and white supremacist domination of the planet. Critically examining these blind spots, Bell Hooks concludes that many of us are motivated to move against domination solely when we feel our self-interest directly threatened. Often, then, the longing is not for a collective transformation of society, but an end to politics of domination, or an end to politics of dominations, but rather simply for an end to what we feel is hurting us. That's from Bell Hooks. When we move beyond, I'm sorry, she's not done. Then she says, when we move beyond self-interest and toward the love that liberates, which is bound together with intimate justice. Oh no, I did write this, sorry, she was done. This is going great. When we move beyond self-interest and toward the love that liberates, which is bound together with intimate justice, and then we are building the world we dream of together. Yes. All right, thank you. In order for us to become strong communities practicing liberatory love, we must magnify and uplift the other, always. Magnify and uplift the other. Amen? Amen. We must look for more ways to share power. Amen? Amen. To serve needs beyond our own. Amen? Amen. For those opportunities to practice deep, open-hearted listening, to hear what someone else is experiencing and believe them. Amen. Amen. Especially if they hold an identity that is not used to being believed or being heard or being centered. This is the work of intimate justice, of showing up to the place where you belong, but also that place that challenges you, that keeps afflicting you just a little bit. This is the work of a covenantal and free faith. It's not perfect, and it requires much of you. But the more you give, I promise you, the more your life will be transformed. And in this year, this presidential election year, and this time of war and division, let us commit to the work of intimate justice, the work of showing up to each other's heartbreak and each other's joy. Let us live in covenant with our values on our sleeves and go singing and go laughing, living our promises and doing the work that is ours to do. May it be so.